It is 7/8/2025, 8:43 p.m., and I'm flowing by way of the Spirit. I was actually listening to a video by Heru, the copper colored god. Alright? Very important message. And I was lit up in the spirit. And excuse me, I had to get a drink of water. I was literally impressed upon in the spirit to literally flow by way of the spirit. And I'm gonna go ahead and travel on over here so you can see the channel. Indians not taxed were always sovereign. Now, this is a familiar message because it's the same message that's been upon my spirit. You know, that who gives these people the right to rule over me? What gives these people the right to literally dictate my life? Impose their will upon me. I don't have the type of heart condition and mentality to pine after money for a living. I'd rather have my land. I'd rather have my natural resources. I'd rather be able to grow my own damn food. For all of you that say if you don't work, you don't eat. Well, I would like to plant my garden. Okay? I would like to plant my food and feed myself. Okay? I would love to do that. What I have a problem with is people imposing their will upon me. And so as I was listening to this video, and I was actually listening to it on Brave, because I'm so sick and tired of Google Chrome and them imposing their freaking ads, trying to force me to remove my ad blocker and literally bypassing my ad blocker. Like it is I'm sorry, people. I don't mean to get off topic, bro. I had to. The reason why is because there wasn't a like on this video, but I did like it. I just did it on the Brave. But anyway, let me not go off on the whole rant about the ad blocker, bro. It's absolutely crazy. Okay. Oh, God. Like, I gotta get it out, bro. I gotta get it out, okay? Like, bro, Google forces their updates. They force their updates, you know? So I have this ad blocker, and when the ad blocker updates every time Google Chrome updates, the ad blocker updates. But Google Chrome wants to impose and enforce their updates, so when they do that, it literally bypasses your ad blocker, so then you're trying to watch a freaking video on here, and it just pops up their freaking ad, regardless of the fact that you got an ad blocker running. I use AdBlock Plus, bro. Like they impose everything, bro. They don't know what it means to have free will. They have free will. That they take control for themselves to have free will, and they impose their will upon everybody else, and refuses to allow us to have our free will. No, they're the only ones that can have free will. So anyway, I had to get it out, okay? I had to get it out. All right. So it still connects to this. Indians not taxed were always sovereign. How come we are not sovereign? And many of my people want to believe that we're African. If we were really African, you see how these people literally despise us, they hate us, they're ruling over us. Do you seriously think that they're keeping us here simply to work for them? No. Because, bruh, they've been trying to genocide us ever since they came over here. Ever since they stepped foot upon these lands, these heathens been trying to genocide us. They came upon our lands calling us savages. But they were the savages. Today they call us racist. But clearly, they're the racists. They calling us hateful for speaking the truth. But clearly they're hateful. So everything that they have done unto us and continue to do unto us, this is what they claim that we're doing unto them. How the hell is the victimizer the victim? You're not allowing us to be sovereign. You're literally imposing your will upon us. We are not African. You invaded our land. Let's get this.
Prior to colonization, indigenous nations governed themselves. Point blank, period. There was nobody saying, oh, your sovereignty is limited. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can have slot machines. Oh, no, you can't have slot machines. Oh, no, we're digging up your land. Oh, no, we're giving it to the state of Georgia. That did not happen until colonization invented this new sovereignty that has a lot in common with the definition of slavery and subjugation. So we establish and enforce our own laws. I don't even think Indians know what that means today. We are so given to running right to colonizers, statutes, codes, rules, and regulations that we forget, wait a minute, do I have any of my own? Because I need to start. I need to start. I'm telling you, when you go by your colonizers' laws, you lose. It's not. What's the word?
It ain't complicated.
It seems childish to say it's not fair, but it's not fair.
It's not.
They're not being fair. They're not treating you fairly. Nope. They're looking at you as, and this is what you know. This gets my goat because all of this was done because we were seen as heathen and we're not Christians. And like I always say, y'all, you know, I'll be running this into the ground. Once Indians became Christians, when I tell you I think there's more Indian Christians than they are in the entire state of Rome or whatever it is, are so Christianized.
Yep.
Right? So you subjugating us now after we're Christians, it just makes zero sense even in your framework.
Exactly.
So they will actually, see, that's what I mean. They go against their own rules to come for you.
Yep.
What should have happened is, oh, y'all are not Christians. Okay, here we're going to throw some Bibles at you. And boom, now you're Christian. Okay, we'll go back home now. Thank you. We just want to make you Christians for God. Our God. That didn't happen, y'all. They came and said you were heathen. They took your land. They made you Christian. And they still kept your land. If we have not been royally punked, I don't know what the show franchise is.
Exactly, bro. That we have been punked, bro. That right there, that literally connects to everything that I've been saying, bro. How they treat us like we're nothing but their property. Like we have no rights. We have no say-so for ourselves. If we don't have a heart and or mentality after money, then we are just forced to suffer without money in their system. But god damn it, this is my ancestral land. Why don't nobody give a damn about the truth about this? Why in the hell is this ignored? Why am I ignored? And god damn it, I'm about to be 49 years old come August 10th. Why in the hell am I still unheard? All of my life, I've been unheard. All of my life, I've been treated as if I don't matter. As if my voice don't matter, my opinion don't matter, my heart doesn't matter, my mentality doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is money. My Uber driver today, this morning, going to my physical therapist, made the statement, time is money. And he was my complexion. He was my ethnicity. Outwardly. But his heart and his mentality is that of a heathen. That ain't my mentality. That ain't my heart condition. So why am I forced to live in a system that's constantly requiring money from me? My God didn't create money. Money didn't create this earth. Money didn't create my spirit. Money didn't create my soul. Money didn't even create my fleshly body. So why in the hell should I sell out my time, energy, and effort for this money? I don't care about money. I care about my freedom and happiness, goddammit. Why can't I have that? What, you think that I need to have money for that? Only in this satanic ass system. But it wouldn't be that way if I had my land. And I was not subjected to this unrighteous, unjust system of oppression. I was born into this. It was literally imposed and engrafted upon me. And I was just expected to go along accordingly. Conform to it. Be complacent with it. I'm sorry, but no sir, no ma'am. I am not complacent with being ruled by the worst of the heathen. Now, as my brother said, when they came over here to make us Christians, because, you know, Christopher Columbus, he was led by our records. Okay? He was using the apocryphal records to find these lands. He knew exactly where he was coming. He knew exactly who he was coming to subject. On a second. He knew exactly who he was coming to subject. And he knew, and they called us Negroes. Alright. See, he was seduced by a seducing spirit. 1 second. So you gotta also take the papal bull into consideration. Okay, that the Pope wrote. All right, give me just a moment, people. I'm looking for it. Okay, so we'll get how he was seduced by an evil spirit in a second. Deal with my slow PC, people. All right. Uh, this is Christopher Columbus. All right. So he was using our records. All right. He wanted to sail to the Indies. All right. And his whole motivation was to recover the holy city. All right. And the holy land. Okay. All right. In order to encourage me and others about the holy temple. All right. And he wanted to take all of our stuff and give it to what he called the Holy Church. That's Rome. Okay? He elected himself to be the arm of God to come rain vengeance upon his covenant people. This is what Christopher Columbus elected to do. He appointed himself as God's right arm to come over here and put the holy people to the sword. Okay? And impose their Jesus. All right? Now, they had a perverted version of the Messiah. All right? They were imposing their antichrist. They took on the name, okay, for all my overly righteous brews, okay, that want to be stuck on a name. Let's please keep it simple, okay? Let's keep it simple, all right? Let's just say that his name is Jesus, okay? They literally took on his name, all right, in verbal pronunciation only. But the image thereof, they whitewashed into their images, okay? And his character and his teachings, all right? The true eternal law that he taught. Stop. No, behave yourself. They perverted all of that, okay? And they imposed their perversion, okay? I know that his real name ain't Jesus, okay? I realize that there was no letter J, all right? Nevertheless, to keep it simple, I'm just saying they took his name, all right? They were calling upon the name that the people of the land knew, all right? They came talking about this particular person, and our people knew who they were talking about. So we respected them because they said that they were coming in his name. That's why I want to keep it simple. All right? Because they weren't imposing a different God in the name only. Okay? They were imposing a different God in the character thereof and the teaching thereof. All right? The actions thereof. All right? And the portrayal, the image. All right? The image. But in verbal name, it was the same. They came in the benevolent name. Okay? In the benevolent name. Verbally. All right? But their actions were contrary. All right? That's what I'm trying to hone in on, okay? That's what's important, people. All right? They took his name. All right? They verbally pronounced his name and they perverted it. Okay? Everything that they did was a perversion. Now, revealing America's dark-skinned past. Okay? One of the most prevalent fallacies in North American history is the story surrounding Christopher Columbus and the people he encountered. It is interesting to note that early 20th century histories were stating that Christopher Columbus was trying to prove that the world was round. However, late 19th century historical writings on Columbus, not school textbooks, you gotta keep that in mind, not school textbooks, because the educational institutions was only merely there for the purposes of indoctrination. It was not to literally make you smarter. It was not to give you intelligence. No, it was to indoctrinate you with an ideology. Okay? So, not the school textbooks. All right? So, in the late 19th century historical writings on Columbus, it makes no mention of this revelation. All right? They do, however, so, in the real textbooks, they don't talk about how Christopher Columbus was trying to prove that the world was round. Okay? That's something else that they impose upon all humanity, that the earth is a freaking globe. Look, man, you need to chill. Hold on, people. I'll be right back. Come on, man. What is wrong with you? I need you to chill. Alright, sorry people, I had to get some more water. Alright, now, so the actual books that was written in the late 19th century historical writings, they mention in great detail of the carnage that took place on the islands during Columbus's reign. They also describe in detail of the hospitableness of the indigenous people. We are a compassionate and merciful people. We are a very loving and peaceful people. But they portray us to be savages. They portray us to be them, while they take on the benevolent name. They take on a benevolent name while they do all of these heinous atrocities to all humanity and all creation. And they have perpetually done this unto us, the indigenous people, the entire time that they've been upon our lands. And we have not had any rest in these lands since they've been upon our lands. They also describe in detail of the hospitableness of the indigenous people, the gentle nature of the indigenous people, until they had to defend themselves. Like, we were peaceful people until they forced us to defend ourselves. But even when we began to defend ourselves, we couldn't fight against them. And I'll prove that. They were superior with their weapons. Let's see. Oh no, this is not the one. This is good, but this is okay. Let me get this other one. I know that he just put in my mind. Uh, Here it is, I think. All right, of the okay. Let me just get that document real quick. Hispaniola. Okay. Is this it? All right. And so that just goes into them slaughtering us. I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find where we tried to fight back. Hold on a second. Okay, same thing. 1 second, people. I'm trying to find it. Okay. Because we did try to fight back, and when we tried to fight back, it got even worse for us. Okay. We had no might in our hands, and it was biblical prophecy fulfilled against us. So we had no might in our hands. I think this is it right here. This has to be it. Okay. That's the one I brung out before, but I thought I could find it in another one. Okay, here we go. It's all the way at the bottom. Alright. One of the European commanders raped the wife of the paramount chief of the entire island, okay? It was then that the locals began to think up ways of driving the Europeans out of the lands and to take up arms against them. Their weapons, however, were flimsy and ineffective, both in attack and in defense. And indeed, war in the Americas is no more deadly than our jousting. Okay? We tried to fight, but there was no might in our hands. Okay? It was biblical prophecy that we would not have might in our hands, and that these worst of the heathen will come over here and put us to the sword. Okay, so this is exactly what Christopher Columbus elected to do. All right, he elected to be the battle axe of God. Okay, so that's what he did. All right, he came over here to be the battle axe of God. All right, and so we tried to defend ourselves. All right, and that the indigenous people were considered Negroes. All right, do you see that? All right, the indigenous people, that the indigenous people were considered Negroes. Okay. This is from the Italian explorer Giovanni da Verrienzo. Well, however you say it, Zeno. Verrazano, okay, 1524. The complexion of the Carolina Indians is black, not much different from that of the Ethiopians. Their hair is black and thick, and not very long, tied back behind the head like a small tail. As for the physique of these men, they are well proportioned, of medium height, a little taller than we are. Does this not describe us today? They are well proportioned, of medium height, a little taller than we are. They have broad chests, strong arms and legs, and other parts of the body are well composed. They're broad in the face and have big black eyes. They have a sharp cunning. They have a sharp cunning and are agile and swift runners. All right, get pictures of us. Okay, we were enjoying our lands. We enjoyed our lands. We were happy upon these lands. These were the lands that we were blessed with from our God, the true and living God, not your false God of money. We were sovereign upon these lands. And you don't think that we deserve that. You don't think that we deserve to be happy and free in our own ancestral land. No, you want us subjected to this wicked ass system that was imposed upon our land. Eventually, in the retelling of this story, as history has a tendency to do, facts were being deleted. The man who changed modern history could not be depicted as a slaver, amongst other things. And most of all, the image of the indigenous people and the words and names used to describe them had to be changed to accommodate European interests and values. So they had to replace us. So they had to find people to replace us with. And that's you Native Americans who got your casinos and your reservations, getting your monthly checks and all your benefits. And it's all while we suffer, either forced to be a slave to the false god of money, working jobs, or be a slave to necessity, going through much misery and long suffering. And I opted for that because I'd rather go through the long suffering and misery than be a slave to the false god of money. And many people want to hate on me for that. God has created all of these numberless people to be quite the simplest, without malice or duplicity, most obedient, most faithful to their natural lords, and to the Christians whom they serve, the most humble, most patient, most peaceful, and calm, without strife nor tumults, not wrangling, nor querulous, as free from uproar, hate, and desire of revenge as any in the world. This is of the island of Hispaniola. You can look up this document. Among these gentle sheep, gifted by their maker with the above qualities, this is the qualities that I have. I'm a gentle sheep. I was gifted by my maker with these qualities. Many of my people, these people, were upon these lands when the Spaniards entered as soon as they knew them, like wolves, tiger, and lions, which had been starving for many days. And since 40 years they have done nothing else, nor do they afflict, torment, and destroy them with strange and new and diverse kinds of cruelty, never before seen, nor heard of, nor read of. You do this to gentle people, humble people, peaceful people, non-hateful people. That means loving people. They did this to these people, to people like me. And these days, people like me is treated as utter garbage. We're treated as worthless. We're discarded as trash. The Christians, with their horses and swords and lances, began to slaughter and practice strange cruelty among them. They penetrated into the country and spared neither children nor the aged nor pregnant women nor those in child labor, all of whom they ran through the body and lacerated as though they were assaulting so many lambs herded in their sheepfold. See, man. This connects to them entering like wolves, tiger, and lions. It's from the book of Enoch. 70 shepherds. Our God left us in the hand of the lions and tigers and wolves and jackals, and in the hand of foxes and all the wild beasts. And these wild beasts began to tear those sheep to pieces. And I saw that he left that house of theirs and their tower and gave them all into the hand of the lions, that they should tear and devour them, into the hand of all the wild beasts. Now, why would a loving God do this to his covenant people, even the gentle ones of us? Because it was biblical prophecy that had to be fulfilled because of the wickedness of our forefathers. It was because of the wickedness of our forefathers. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore I hid my face from them, and I gave them into the hand of their enemies. He didn't give us into their hands, but he did not deliver us from their hands. People need to understand that the scriptures were transliterated by our enemies, and they want to, every chance they get, they perverted the name of our God. They want to blend good and evil. They want to make our God evil. Our God is not evil. We were evil. My forefathers were evil. My God is long suffering. My God is loving. My God is merciful. My God is empathetic and compassionate. My God is all benevolent. But my God is not going to protect wicked people that are in outright disobedience. All right? So, no, he didn't give us into the hands of our enemies. He just did not deliver us from their hands because of our wickedness. So we fell by the way of the sword. All of us. We were punished as a whole. And it's exactly how you nations are about to be punished. Unless you are cleaving unto us, because you do have that option. If you refuse to cleave unto us, the tender-hearted vessels of mercy, all right, these people here, the most humble, most patient, most peaceful and calm, without strife nor tumults, not wrangling nor quarrelous, as free from uproar, hate, and desire of revenge as any in the world. We're none of this right here. We're not. We're. I mean, we are all of this. Okay, we don't hate anyone. Okay, we don't desire revenge. All right, all we want is our peace. All we want is to live humbly before our God. We've been patient. We've been peaceful. I am peaceful. I am not a violent person. I don't carry man-made mortal weapons. I am very calm. I'm without strife. I don't get in tumults. I don't argue with people. I speak the eternal living word by the way of the Spirit for all who can receive it. If you can't receive it, then keep it moving. I ain't here to argue with you. There is no such thing as arguing the eternal truth. You either accept it or you don't accept it. All right? So no, we don't quarrel with you. Okay? We are roaring. Okay? So this free from uproar, this right here is getting to the point to where we are roaring now. We're like the roaring lion. Okay? We're standing up in great boldness, speaking this truth by the way of the Spirit. And no, I don't desire revenge, but I do desire justice. Justice. The scales have to be balanced. It's been extremely imbalanced for far too long. Look at this imbalance. See, this is the Gentiles' God. All right? Money is their God. They got all their money because of what they did to us. The reason why they're up here with all of their money is because of all the blood that they spilled. Our blood. So all of that is blood money. It's all blood money. Because you would not have that. Y'all came over here to live your American dream at our expense. This is our ancestral land. How in the hell are we on the bottom of the economic system in our own ancestral land? Like, are you serious right now? Romans 11:12. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, them, that's the indigenous people of this land. That's the true covenant people of the true and living God. And the diminishing of us be the riches of the Gentiles, you Europeans. How much more our fullness? How come you don't want to restore us? How come you want to leave us suffering? How come you don't want to heal us? Why are we told that slavery is no excuse for our impoverished circumstances? As if it's not the very reason European nations have been on top of the economic system, enjoying their blessing. You're sitting nice and pretty, white people, as a whole, and all nations that partook of the Confederacy, with the worst of the heathen. You're all sitting nice and pretty. You're all sitting nice and pretty. You got your prosperity. Yeah, you got your prosperity. But at what cost? At what cost? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? You got all your private boats. You've been able to just live it up nicely. See? The true and living God allotted you your time frame. The times of the Gentiles. Gentile possession or dominance over the city of Jerusalem. That be these lands. Not what the Gentiles have indoctrinated the whole world into believing. You seriously believe that little patch of land over there in the desert is the real Jerusalem? For real, for real? How come all nations flock over here to the Americas to live the American dream? There will be great distress upon the land and wrath to this people. Just a moment, let me pull it right up. I had a lot of references to this. Thank you. Clearly, we've experienced a hell of a lot of distress in these lands. A hell of a lot of wrath in these lands. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But we will have a trembling heart. The Most High didn't give us no trembling heart. No, these devils in our land with their beast of destruction, they gave us a trembling heart. Don't you think we had a trembling heart when they were burning crosses in our yard? Don't you think we had a trembling heart when they were treating us like this? Look how he handling her. Don't you think that this would give a people a trembling heart? Don't you think this is wrath? We endured all of this. They were just on our land, just inflicting terror and hell upon us. Bull Connor was a Democrat. Even the fire department was against us. As a public safety commissioner of Birmingham, Alabama in 1963, it was at his command that civil rights protesters were attacked by dogs and beaten back by high-powered streams from fire hoses. Bull Connor was also a member of the Democratic National Committee and the Ku Klux Klan. When Klansmen attacked freedom riders in Birmingham with bats and metal pipes, Connor allowed the beating to go on for 15 minutes without police interference. No arrests were made at the scene. Bull Connor lived and died a Democrat. This is in 1963. Y'all been inflicting hell upon us since 1492. Okay? 1452 he wrote the freaking papal bull. Where this all started. Okay? Like, all of this time, we've been under this enslavement because we were not Christians in these lands. So, because we were not Christians, the Pope wrote this decree to put us under perpetual slavery. So they were given the permission by the Pope to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all Saracens and pagans whatsoever and other enemies of who they considered to be Christ. But it certainly wasn't the real Christ. But they used our sin against us. All right? Our sin, the reason, they knew the reason why they were allotted to come over here. And they used that against us. This is why they called us pagans and heathens and savages and all of these things. This is why they said we had no souls and all of these things. All right? They deceived themselves into believing that our God no longer cared about us. They seriously thought that they could do whatever they wanted to do unto us, and that our God would never recover us, would never care what they're doing and what they've done. And this is the whole reason for their religion of Christianity. Their evangelical religion of Christianity is all about not paying for their sins. The whole reason that they worship Jesus is because they seriously believe that Jesus came to the earth to be a blood sacrifice to cover their sin. They're in a strong delusion because he did no such thing. The Love Supper of Yeshua. Okay? Alright, it's getting. Let me see if I can do it this way. Alright, now. I tell you, many have been restored to the eternal all, and many yet shall be. For the Son of Man came into the world to the being of every nature in order to restore each to its original root. Thus shall the deficiency be healed, and all things will become one again unto the all parent. All right, now that's one version. Okay. Let's see. I think this is also this. I think that might be from what book is this from? Not sure what book this is from. I just be getting screenshots, people. All right, but it doesn't matter because it's gonna line up. Watch. All right, now let me do this the same way. For truly I say to you, for this end have I come into the world, that I may put away all blood offering and the eating of flesh. But mankind are wicked, and rejoice in their evils, and change not. For strong is the power of the evil one, and many follow. Therefore tell you the meek of the earth, that they may know the truth. In the beginning Ahia gave to all the fruits of the trees and the seeds and the herbs for food, yea, to every man and beast. But those who loved themselves or their fellows more than a true supreme power, Ahia, did corrupt their ways, and introduced every disease into their bodies, and filled the earth with lust and violence. And unto this day men have not changed. Yea, the consecrated law did they indeed corrupt to suit their own evil ways. But I keep sending them prophets in their midst to restore the law. But they added to their evil 100-fold, by taking innocent blood upon themselves and their children, yet boasting in their false mighty ones and idols, and sacrificing the innocents of the earth, both man and beast. All right. That was from the Essene Humane Gospel of Yahushua HaMashiach. And we're going to get it from the Gospel of the Holy 12. The last Paschal Supper, okay? Verily I say unto you, for this end have I come into the world, that I may put away all blood offerings, and the eating of the flesh of the beasts and the birds that are slain by men. In the beginning, the Most High God gave unto all the fruits of the trees and the seeds and the herbs for food. But those who love themselves more than the Most High God or their fellows corrupted their ways, and brought diseases into their bodies, and filled the earth with lust and violence. Not by shedding innocent blood, therefore, but by living a righteous life, shall you find the peace of the Most High God. You call me the Christ of God, and you say, well, for I am the way, the truth, and the life. Walk ye in the way, and you shall find the true God. Seek you the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Live in the life, and you shall see no death. All things are alive in the Most High God, and the Spirit of the Most High God filleth all things. Keep you the commandments. Love thy God with all your heart, and love thy neighbor as thyself. On these hang all the law and the prophets. And the sum of this law is this: do not do unto others as you would not that others should do unto you. Do unto others as you would have that others should do unto you. Blessed are they who keep this law, for the Most High God is manifested in all creatures, and all creatures live in the Most High God, and the true and living God is hid in them. After all these things, the Messiah dipped the sour sop and gave it to Judas Iscariot, saying, what thou doest, do quickly. He then, having received the sop, went out immediately, and it was late. All right. Judas betrayed the Messiah because the Messiah refused to allow a lamb to be slain on Passover. And if you want the rest of that story, just read this, okay? I don't got time to go into it, okay? I wanted to prove to you that his whole reason for coming into this world. All right? You need to understand. Okay? Now, he allowed them to come over here because we refuse to listen to any other prophets. Okay? So he was like, I'm going to allow it into the hands of strangers for a prey and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they shall pollute it. Have they not polluted this land? Have they not polluted everywhere that they have been? My face would I also turn from them. Well, he didn't really turn his face from us. We turned our face from him. Okay? But yes, he turned his face from, bruh, he was not intervening. And he told all of the angelic hosts to stand down. Okay? He told them all to stand down. Okay? Yes, we had our guardian angels all throughout my life. Like, bro, for the most part, he told our protection to stand down. Okay? I've been through things in my life that I had to experience, okay? Like you gotta go through things, you gotta experience things in order to talk about it, in order to help people, in order to help other people come out of something. You have had to first experience it and come out of it. All right. So I'm not saying that he didn't help us at all. I'm not saying that there was no angelic protection at all. But for the most part, he told the angelic host to stand down. Okay, do you realize that these lands are protected? Okay, these lands have divine protection. All right, these are the set apart lands. All right, the fourth part of the earth is the set apart land. It's set apart from the three parts. Okay, so we had divine protection upon these lands. Well, when the Most High, true and living God told the angelic host to stand down, we seen there was all kinds of omens in the sky. Okay, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all the what do you call it? Like the host of heaven, okay? Like the stars, the sun, all of that is supposed to give us signs. Okay, therefore signs, therefore letting us know the times, okay? And giving us warning of that which is to come. Okay, so they're omens and whatnot. Okay, your blood moons, your eclipses, these are not normal things. These are like these are time intervals. All right, this is the true clock. Okay, this is the true clock. All right, the time that they gave us is not true. It's not real time. The real time is the luminaries. Okay, so you need to understand this. So anyway, we knew that these wicked people were going to come over here to our lands. This is from the Florentine Codex. Okay, I'm just going to give you a little piece of it. All right. So we knew that they were coming. All right, we knew they were coming. We knew what they were going to do. Okay, 10 years before the Spaniards arrived here, an omen of evil first appeared in the heavens. And I'm sorry, people, this is from the Florentine Codex. Okay, the Florentine Codex, book 12. Okay, the conquest of Mexico. Okay, what they call Mexico. All right, because these names of places that the Spaniards' name is not the original name. Okay, we didn't call Mexico Mexico. Okay, we didn't call America America. We didn't call Africa Africa. Okay, like these are the names that the colonizers gave us. You need to understand that. Okay, so anyway, from the Florentine Codex, 10 years before the Spaniards arrived here, an omen of evil first appeared in the heavens. It was like a tongue of fire, like a flame, like the light of dawn. It looked as if it was showering sparks, as as if it stood piercing the heavens. It was wide at the base. It was pointed at the head, to the very midst of the sky, to the very heart of the heavens. It stood reaching to the very midpoint of the skies. It stood stretched as it was seen. It was there to the east when it thus came. And I really ain't trying to read all of this, people. Okay? I got 4 pages of it, and I'm not trying to read all of this. Okay? Cause bro, I'll be here all day if I go through all of these, go down all of these receipts. Okay. Fourth at midnight, it looked as if day had dawned, day had broken. All right. Later, the sun destroyed it when he arose. For a full year, the sign came forth. Okay. It was in the year 12th house that it began. And when it appeared, there was shouting. There was the striking of the palm of the hand against the mouth. There was fear. There was inactivity. Okay? We seen the omens. We knew that the Spaniards were coming. Okay? We knew they were coming. Okay? And now y'all got y'all prosperity. After you done raped, robbed, murdered, plundered, pillaged, tortured, enslaved, reclassified, and have been perpetually oppressing us the entirety of the time that you've been upon these lands. And now you all are prosperous, while we are impoverished. And you refuse to heal us out of the abundance of your prosperity. But you want to claim out your vain ass mouth that you love and serve the true and living God. You're in a strong delusion. And you're about to be shown better than we can keep telling you. With all your private yachts, living lavishly, our God allowed you your time frame. There will be great distress upon the land and wrath to this people, and they will fall by the edge of the sword and will be led captive into all the nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled underfoot by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. Okay? Y'all been trotting down our lands since the 1700s in droves. Incoming foreigners to America. 1700s to the 1900s, millions of y'all packed into our lands. And all while you've been upon these lands, you've been diminishing us upon these lands. From the 1700s all the way through the 1900s. Look at these massacres. I'm leaving it up there for a little bit so you can look at it. Take a screenshot and literally research every single one of them massacres. Now again, if our fall became the riches of the world, clearly it did. as you can see, okay, and the diminishing of us, as you diminished us in these lands, okay, you took over the best parts of our lands, and you literally, forced us to live in the ghettos. All right? And you've been mistreating us the whole damn time that y'all been upon our lands. And y'all had no compassion for us. Y'all had no mercy for us. Y'all had no empathy, none of that. But you got all your money. And you want to vainly confess that God loves everybody. God loves everybody while you sitting up here with all your money, all your prosperity. And we're in utter poverty. And we're not even able to govern ourselves. Won't even allow us to be sovereign upon our own ancestral land.
We just want to make you Christians for God, our God. That didn't happen, y'all. They came and said you were heathen. They took your land. They made you Christian, and they still kept your land. If we have not been royally punked, I don't know what the show franchise is.
We have definitely been royally punked. This whole damn time, y'all been humiliating us. Y'all have humbled us in our own land. One second. We hoped indeed to have been the head, but we have become the tail. We have been afflicted when we have exerted ourselves. So what is this? That's working their jobs. We exerted ourselves? That's spending our time, energy, and effort working jobs for money. But while we were doing that, we were being afflicted. We have been devoured by sinners and the ungodly. Their yoke has been heavy upon us. We ain't been in physical shackles and chains unless we broke one of their laws and we went to one of their prisons or they locked us up innocently. But overall, we don't have physical shackles and chains. But the shackle and chain is this economic system where we're forced to have money for any and everything in our own ancestral land. We can't grow money. I can't plant a seed and get money. No, the only way that I can get money is to put my time, energy, and effort into earning it. And that's by being a part of this system. Well, I'd rather put my time, energy, and effort flowing by way of the Spirit. Those have exercised dominion over us, who detest and who goad us, and to those who hate us, we have humbled our neck, but they have shown no compassion toward us. To this day, you still have no compassion upon us. For over 3 years, I've been putting out this work full time, not earning income for a living. But no one has cared that I have been suffering. Just want to leave me out here suffering. And this is in order to enforce me to put in my time, energy, and effort to earn money, something that my God did not create. We're done with this. All right? So you want us in perpetual slavery. You think that you possess these islands, these lands, these harbors, these seas. You think that by right it belongs and pertains to the said King Alfonso and his successors. All right? But the Pope repudiated this doctrine of discovery. The doctrine was invoked as a legal and religious standing by Europeans who quote unquote discovered new lands and violently seized it from people who had been living there for generations. It has been cited in different arenas for centuries, including by the U.S. Supreme Court as early as 1823 and as recently as 2005. All right? Nearly 500 years after papal decrees were used to rationalize Europe's colonial conquest, the Vatican repudiated those decrees on Thursday, saying the doctrine of discovery that was used to justify snuffing out indigenous people's culture and livelihood is not part of the Catholic faith. Yes, it certainly is a part of the Catholic faith. As a matter of fact, this is exactly what they're all about. This is from First Nephi, chapter 13. And it came to pass that I looked and beheld many waters, and they divided the Gentiles from the seed of my brethren. And it came to pass that an angel said unto me, Behold, the wrath of the Most High God is upon the seed of my brethren. And I looked and beheld a man among the Gentiles, who was separated from the seed of my brethren by the many waters. And I beheld the spirit of the I beheld an evil spirit that it came down and wrought upon the man. And he went forth upon the many waters, even unto the seed of my brethren, who were in the promised land. And it came to pass that I beheld an evil spirit, that it was wrought upon other Gentiles, and they went forth out of captivity upon the many waters. Okay? Well, maybe it wasn't an evil spirit that was upon all the Gentiles, okay? Because, who's to say that our God wasn't working with some of them, okay? I won't say that my God wasn't working with some of them, okay? Because my God is all good, all right, and was given an opportunity for the Gentiles to come over here, all right. We were going over the 70 shepherds, okay, so there were 70 shepherds that the Father was allotting us to be in their hands, okay. Where's that 70 shepherds? 1 second. This is it right here, all right. So the 70 shepherds, he left us in their hands, okay. So who's to say that there weren't some who he was with, okay. They were seeking him. There were some that were in captivity and they were seeking the true and living God, all right. So who's to say that he wasn't near unto them? He is near unto the brokenhearted, okay. He's near unto those who are brokenhearted, all right. Now, and our God is not a respecter of person. Now, I know many of my brews, they're going to be like, no, God only deals with one nation. No, he said he got sheep of other folds, okay? He said he got many sheep of other fold, okay? Other folds, okay? Now, so let's just say that, maybe he was upon some of the other ones that were in captivity. And, allow them to come on over here, okay? And it came to pass that I beheld many multitudes of Gentiles upon the land of promise. And I beheld it says the wrath of God, okay? But it wasn't the wrath of God. It was the wrath of our own damn wickedness, all right? That the vessels of dishonor, okay, all the vessels of dishonor, all those that were doing dishonorable deeds, they were vessels of dishonor, okay? They came over here upon the land of promise, all right, and they were wrathful upon the seed of his brethren, all right, and we were scattered before the Gentiles and were smitten, okay, and I beheld, Tiger, don't make me have to put you on timeout. Hold on, let me deal with my cat. Stop! You hear me in there? I'm working. Quit. Chill yourself out. Damn. Now, and I beheld that evil spirits was upon the Gentiles, and they did prosper and obtain the land for their inheritance, because guess what? The true and living God was not with them in doing all their heinous atrocities unto us. Okay, this is not the attributes of the true and living God. This is the attributes of a malevolent God. Okay, the true and living God don't come over raping. If you following the true and living God, you're not going to be raping nobody. You're not going to be robbing nobody. You're not going to be murdering nobody. You're not going to be doing no heinous atrocities to people. Okay? So clearly it was a malevolent God that they were following. Okay? And that's how they became prosperous. That's how they obtained this land for their inheritance. Okay? But it's saying that some of them humbled themselves before the Lord. All right? And so the our big brother Yahusha was with some of them. All right? And we know that a lot of them were coming over here for religious freedom. Okay? Now, so yes, that is their Catholic faith. Okay? Hold on. There's something else that I need to get. All right? Because because that started at verse 10. I needed to go up a little bit more. All right. It came to pass that I beheld this great and abominable church, and I saw the devil, that he was a founder of it. And I also saw gold and silver and silks and scarlets and fine twined linen and all manner of precious clothing. And I saw many harlots. And the angel spake unto me, saying, Behold, the gold and the silver and the silks and the scarlets and the fine twined linen and the precious clothing and the harlots are the desires of this great and abominable church. That's the Roman Catholic Church. And also, for the praise of the world do they destroy the saints of the Most High God and bring them down into captivity. All right? And now you see that's where we start. That's where we picked up right here. All right? So, this is your Roman Catholic Church. They destroyed us, and now they get the praise of the world, and they're all prosperous. They impoverished us, and they became prosperous. And the whole world wants to believe that this is the real reality, while all humanity and all creation is suffering in great misery. Going back over here to this Book of Enoch. All right. So he left us into the hand of all these wild beasts. All right. And I began to cry aloud with all my power, and called upon the Lord of the sheep, and showed him this in reference to the sheep, that they were being devoured by all the wild beasts. Let's go back over here to the island of Hispaniola. Okay? The Christians, with their horses and swords and lances, began to slaughter and practice strange cruelty among them. They penetrated into the country and spared neither children, nor the aged, nor pregnant women, nor those in child labor, all of whom they ran through the body and lacerated as though they were assaulting so many lambs herded in their sheepfold. They made bets as to who would slit a man in two, or cut off his head at one blow, or they opened up his bowels. They tore babes from their mother's breast by their feet, and dashed their heads against the rocks. Others they seized by the shoulders and threw into the rivers, laughing and joking. And when they fell into the water, they exclaimed, "Boil, body of so and so." They must have been throwing them into hot springs. They spitted the bodies of other babes, together with their mothers, and all who were before them, on their swords. And keep in mind, these are very humble, patient, peaceful, calm, without strife nor tumults. These are non-hateful people. These are loving people that they did this shit to. They made a gallows just high enough for the feet to nearly touch the ground. And by 13s, in honor and reference of our Redeemer and the 12 apostles, they put wood underneath, and with fire they burned the Indians alive. The indigenous people of these lands, whom they refer to as Negroes. I want to hone this in, how how this is how we were treated in these lands, and that they knew who we were, and it needs to be known that the Americas is Negro land. It does not belong to the white man. It doesn't belong to the colonizer. This is our ancestral land. Okay? When they came over here, they said that we didn't have souls. One second. Tiggy, I'm going to put you on timeout if you don't stop. Thank you, Father. I got to get my cat. My cat is on timeout. Now, is this even it? Yeah. All right. And this is the same attitude that these people have unto this day. All right. This is from the book Return of the Children of Light. Okay? During the conquest, the Spanish, directed by the Catholic Church, systematically destroyed nearly all vestiges of Incan spiritual life. Every lineage, waka, every I can't even pronounce that. A certain type of stone. All the ceremonial sites. All right. Moreover, the conquistadors invaded sanctuaries of the virgins of the sun, whom they raped. The agricultural terraces and irrigation systems were seized but were not maintained. As a result, the people were no longer connected to the stars from which they originated. The solstices and equinoxes, so vital to the people's vision, could no longer be accurately observed. The people's ties with history were severed, and there were no longer any surpluses of food or water, but instead droughts and famines. The conquistadors, driven by overwhelming greed and a blind arrogance based on an indoctrinated sense of moral superiority, had but two interests: subjugation and gold. Okay? So their God is gold. Their God is money. And in order to worship their God, they had to subjugate the people that had the gold. Because Europe didn't have gold. Europe didn't have money. Europe was not a prosperous... Where the Europeans were, okay, where your modern day Europeans were, their lands were not prosperous. They were coming from impoverished circumstances. Okay? Y'all came from impoverished circumstances. You came here looking for a better life. But it was at the expense of the indigenous people. And you don't care about that. Because it's every man for himself, right? It's survival of the fittest, right? Well, that's contrary to the eternal law of our God that instructed all of us to love your neighbor as thyself. Not come rape, rob, murder, plunder, pillage, torture, enslave, and reclassify and just take over the resources in the land of the indigenous people and just treat the indigenous people like your freaking property. The story in Mesoamerica is much the same as that in Peru, although in both regions, even long after their golden ages, alright, this is a regression. What we're living now is a total regression. Okay? We are not a civilization. No, we live in hell. Okay? We live in Satan's kingdom, where there is no real love. There is no real compassion. There is no real kindness. There's no mercy. There's no empathy. There's no generosity. There is none of these things in the satanic system of capitalism. In both regions, even long after their golden ages, the civilizations overrun by the Spanish were in many ways far more advanced and progressive than the cities of Spain at that time. Since the Vatican had decreed that the indigenous people of the Americas was not human, what other nation of people has been considered not human? Wouldn't that be African Americans? Isn't that the African Americans that was considered 3/5 of a human being? And thus had no souls. Anything was tolerated in the blind pursuit of the one and only God. Gold. We can clearly see that this is what they worship. They worship money. Money is their God. Not the true and living God. No, they just took over the creation of the true and living God. And they've been glorifying their money that they obtained with the blood of the covenant people of the true and living God upon his earth. From Cusco alone, the Spanish took billions of dollars worth of gold, often in the form of extraordinary pieces of artwork melted into ingots. Much of the wealth that came from the conquest ended up in the coffers of the Catholic Church, which in turn continued to support the conquistadors. They used the wealth that they obtained from our land and destroying us to support their conquest of continuing their destruction upon us. Ultimately, the goal of the conquistadors was to break the spirit of the people. Is this not your goal, all you hard-hearted people today? Are you not trying to break my spirit by shutting up your bowels of compassion unto me, knowing that everything within this satanic ass system costs money? Yet I don't have any money because I'm not earning money, because my God is not money. See, you trying to break my spirit, trying to force me to suffer so much that I don't have no other choice but to earn money for a living. Well, see, no, I gave my life for my spiritual mission. So my life is truly in God's hands, the true and living God. And all you self-righteous people, you're like, yeah, so your life is in God's hands, so let God deal with you while you shut up your bowels of compassion. You'll have abundance, and you're like, you ain't getting none of my abundance. You don't deserve any of my abundance. You don't deserve my money. You ain't worth my money. I ain't valuable to you. But you want to profess that you love me. Trying to break my spirit. They were enslaved and brutalized, stripped of everything that had meaning. So you want to take away what gives me life. This gives me life. Putting in my time, energy, and effort doing this is life. But earning money for a living sucks my soul away, shackles and chains my spirit. See, that's the life that you want for me. Stripped of everything that has meaning. Focus on the superficial. Focus on sustaining your fleshly body. Fuck your spirit. That's your attitude. Fuck your spirit. Our spiritual practices were outlawed. However, despite this violence, the seed did not die. but instead went underground within the unconscious, where in the realm of our deepest yearnings awaited the return of the light. And that return of the light is here. We're done with this. So you see, he allowed all of this to happen to us, okay? He allowed our land into the hands of strangers for a prey, to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they surely polluted it. Okay, we turned our face from him. All right, so he allowed them to come pollute his secret place. He knew that the robbers were going to enter into it and defile it. Okay, make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. All right, wherefore he said he will allow the worst of the heathen. He didn't bring them, okay? But he allowed the worst of the heathen to come over here to possess our houses. All right? This caused the pomp of the strong to cease. All right? All of our mighty men, all right? They buck broke them. Okay? Yeah, they took the biggest man and they would buck break him. Okay? That's raping. Okay? Yes. They raped the men. They raped the women. They raped the children. Okay? And their holy places shall be defiled. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. This whole damn time, we're like, hands up, don't shoot. You know, no justice, no peace. You know, all of these rallying, all of these protests, marching and marching and marching. Yet we still have not had peace. I have spiritual peace, but I still ain't got peace. You know, yeah, I got spiritual peace. I'm sustained by way of the spirit. But I have no idea how my rent gonna get paid. It's over 5 months late. Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priests, and counsel from the ancients. Because they murdered us. They killed us. They killed our ancients. All right? The king shall mourn. And why you think there's no kings in this land? No official recognized kings in this land. All right? Because they did away with the kings in this land. They did away with the nobility in these lands. All right? The king shall mourn, and the prince shall be clothed with desolation, and the hands of the people of the land shall be troubled. The hands of the people of the land shall be troubled. This is working jobs for money. Because we're earning, when I earned the money for a living, it was barely enough for a living. So it was trouble. It was oppression. Okay? He allotted unto us after our way. According to our deserts, we were judged. And we know that he is the true and living God. All right? All of this took place right here in America, people. This is making me want to go to Facebook right quick. All right. Among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But we have had a trembling heart and a failing of eyes and a sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. This has been our life for centuries because of you nations upon our lands. Gotta go to Facebook because I gotta get a video right quick. That's a good one too. Let me check my time. Okay, I'm almost at 2 hours. At least I'm not at 3 hours. Oh, goodness sakes. Man, it's so laggy. Come on now. Just freaking relax. Annoying. I shared the video. I know I shared it, so bear with me, people. It's freaking annoying. Come on now. There's a very important video I need to share with you guys. I don't think that was it. Is this it? Is that it? I think that might be it. Yeah, I think that one's it. Yeah. I think that one was it. Alright. No one trusts America today. It's clearly the seed of the beast. They've been holding the true covenant people of the... Oh, no, this is not it. Hold on. I think this might be it. Wait a minute. Is this it? No, this is not it. That's not it either. There was another video. Damn it, I don't remember. I thought I shared it. I could have sworn I shared it. It was about the picnic and all of that. Dang it, bro. This is annoying, man. What the hell is going on with this? Okay. I'm trying to go to the other video. That, yeah, bruh. I don't like the way they did this. I don't like the way. I'm gonna go ahead and play this one. I can't find the other one, people. I don't know what the hell. Maybe it was removed or something. Alright, so let me just play this right quick because this is important too. Okay. My connection really slow.
Black people are under this like crazy hypnosis, and we've been under hypnosis since 1970. This hypnosis is from programming through TV, through movies, through music, things of that nature, right? Notice how in the 1960s, right, we were pro-black, we were fighting against any social injustices, we were fighting against systemic oppression, we were fighting for our rights. We took pride in families, we were together, we had esteem of ourselves, we knew who we were at this time. It was a civil rights movement, right? We had no black shows, no black movies to where it was like a full black cast or anything like that, except for like A Raisin in the Sun, which was depressing. The only other shows that we had in the 60s, which weren't fully black cast, was a show named Julia about a single black mom who was widowed. Her husband was gunned down in Vietnam, and she was raising a black boy into being a man. She was a nurse working for a company, working for a place. Then the next one was a show called The Bill Cosby Show, but not the one with Claire Huxtable and Rudy or nothing, but it was him being a gym teacher, and he was like a bachelor. I feel like these were tester shows, but they really didn't connect with the black community like that because Bill Cosby was more so washed, and the show Julia was like watched. It wasn't connecting with our people. So we wasn't really into those shows. We were still into the movement at that time. It was another show that came out in like the 1950s. In 1951, it was called the Amos and Andy Show. It first was a radio show that was on from 1928 to 1960. It lasted 32 years on the radio, but it was two Caucasian guys cosplaying two men that were from Harlem and Chicago. But they depicted us as stupid, ignorant, and stuff like that on that radio show. But then in 1951, they created the actual show, TV show, because in the 20s the television came out, but up until 1950 only 9% of households had a television in their house. But then after 1950 to 1960 it boomed to 90%. So they knew that it was going to boom, so they created that show. But it only lasted for 2 years because the people who had a TV was people mostly. It wasn't really us. So they damn sure wasn't trying to see no Negroes on TV. So we still weren't fully entertained like that during this time. Because like I said, Bill Cosby show came out, but he wasn't the top comedian for the black community. It was Red Fox. It was Richard Pryor at that time. Notice how in the 1960s, during this whole time, from 1961, Patrice Lumumba was offed. 1965, Malcolm X was assassinated. 1968, it was MLK. It was Bobby Hutton, Bobby Seale, and Huey Newton, the co-founders of the Black Panther organization. They were thrown in jail in 1968 for false accusations. Huey P. Newton, it was for manslaughter charge, but he wound up beating it because it didn't stick. Then for Bobby Seale, it was him protesting against the Vietnam War. And then while he was in jail, they tried to stick a conspiracy charge on him, but it didn't stick. And he was in there, I believe, until the 70s or something. On December 4th, 1969, Fred Hampton was offed. Crazy enough, that same date, December 4th, 1969, was the same day that Jay-Z was born. Clearly, the black community during that time had to have been in an uproar. They took away our leaders, they assassinated them, and then they left us with nothing, right? And they kept with the systemic oppression, the racism, the hate. After that came 1970. Then 1971 was when the entertainment started coming with Soul Train. So all our favorite artists are now going to be seen on this show. Michael Jackson, the Supremes, Marvin Gaye, the Temptations, all of these people are now showcased to us. And we got to wait for it to come out. Every week, I believe it was probably every week. And then we got to glue ourselves to the TV to watch it. So there was no more organizing. There was no more getting together. We were more so talking about this Soul Train line and stuff. And we seeing this cool guy on TV named Don Cornelius or something like that. And he's hosting it. It's like, oh man, we got our own show now. That's what's up. This is back in the 70s. Times were slower then, right? There were no streaming apps. There was no VCRs. There was no DVDs. There was nothing like that. You had to wait for the show to come out. So I looked up all the other shows and the movies that came out during that time. So now these were the ones that I just wrote down, but when I researched it, it was hundreds of movies that came out during that time. Once again, there was no VCR, no streaming site, so it wasn't like they would put movies out on Tubi. These were in the movie theaters, so where people had to go to them, spend 2-3 hours in the movie theaters, and then they were going to see the movie again back to back. That was what was going on during that time. 1971, Shaft came out. That same year, Soul Train came out. 1972, Superfly, Trick Baby, Blackula, Sanford and Son came out. 1973, The Mac, Cleopatra Jones, Black Caesar, Coffee, Shaft in Africa. 1974, Foxy Brown, Claudine, Willie Dynamite. Good Times came out that same year. 1975, Cornbread Earl and Me, Cooley High, Dolomite. 1976, Car Wash, What's Happening. 1977, Roots. Now they had to throw something in there to remind us and to make us believe that we came from Africa and make us feel less than. So they gave us Roots in 1977. Then in 1978 was The Wiz. So in 1974 was this movie called Black Samson that came out. All of these were like big movies for the black community. I just listed about 20 movies and about 6 shows that came out, all within that one decade after all of our leaders were assassinated. The majority of the movies that I listed were about imps, put a P in front of it, about rug dealers, about prostitutes, put a P in front of it, about us doing a bunch of debauchery and dumb stuff in the movie. To influence, I got to mention in 1972, Fat Albert came out for the kids. Around the same time, the Vietnam War was still going on. It was from 1955 to 1975. So when that flood of movies came in, up to 1975, when that flood of movies came in, you had a bunch of dads of the household leaders who were going fighting in the war. While the mom was single back home, they were sending her money back home and stuff. But she was raising the kids and they were going to the movies she was keeping them entertained, right? And this is what the little kids were seeing growing up, right? Also, vets that were coming back, they were on that H stuff, that black stuff, putting it in their arm, not all of them, but then they came back to be influenced and see like, whoa, we got movies now? Once again, it went from the 60s to the 70s. Well, we got movies now? We the main characters? We got a whole black cast? We got these shows? What is this Good Times? What is this Sanford and Son? What is this Soul Train? All of that stuff came about, right? That was the hypnotism. It doesn't take a doctor holding a clock on the screen saying you're getting sleepy. You're getting sleepy. Now click like a chicken. It doesn't require that. All it takes is programming. And if you constantly put stuff in people's face, they're automatically going to start doing those things or portraying those things or reenacting those things. This is what's going to happen, especially if you're doing it and feeding it to little kids. Little kids are in the room too, because it's one TV in the house. It was the 70s. So they're seeing this stuff and now they're going to portray this stuff. The same thing is still going on today. We're being influenced by this stuff. Little kids are being tricked out of their lives through the music today. Just like we were tricked out of our freedom through the dope boy era. Even when they hire black directors, just think about all the shows or movies that these black directors that came out with. And I love them all, but we had John Singleton, we have Ryan Coogler, great movies. We have Issa Rae, great shows. I love Issa. You have Lena Waithe. Like, bro, like the shows that come out, like The Chi, what's involved in The Chi, Insecure, Issa sleeping with a lot of different dudes. You got John Singleton, all hood movies. Ryan Coogler having to have the white dude save the day in Black Panther. Added to that list of writers and directors is of course, Tyler Perry. And him having Taraji P portray this distraught black woman in every film. Even with Issa Rae, you don't think Issa Rae could have came out with something better than One of Them Days? Like, she pitched the idea to the people who are in control of the entertainment industry. And she said, hey, I have a movie about two black girls. They're about to own their first house and they're about to put in the money with each other. They both have great jobs. They have great husbands or boyfriends. Issa, I don't think that sounds good. You have anything else? Well, I don't know. You know how Issa Rae act. I have this movie about two black girls staying in the projects and they're just trying to pay the next month's rent. And they go through a bunch of stuff. And one of the girls has a boyfriend and he only likes to buy Air Jordans, so he can't help them because he's staying with them, but he doesn't have the money. And they get chased around by this bully that's a girl. And then she catches up with him, the bully. And then she beats both of them up and she twerks on him. That's it. Issa, you're a genius. That's it, Issa. That's the movie. Hey, where's my checkbook? $20 million. Here you go, Issa. Here you go. We're going to promote this movie. We're going to market it. And you're going to sell this movie out. It's going to be the top in the box office. I can promise you that. Mwah, you're a genius. The rap music, we're the only ones that shit on our own women. We're the only ones that talk about all this foolishness in our music, spending money on dumb stuff, like selling rugs to each other, doing rugs. Even it goes to the R&B music too, because if I listen to Taylor Swift, she's singing about all of these beautiful things. But then when I go and I listen to Jasmine Sullivan, who has a beautiful voice, she's talking about busting the windows out of my car. Like, the frequencies are different from when it comes to Taylor to when it comes to Jasmine. It's like, but Jasmine has to put it out because she has to give all her music to the A&R. And they're only going to okay certain songs. They're in control of everything, and it's putting us under hypnosis. And we don't see it. Once again, it doesn't take a hypnotist to swing a clock in front of your face that's on a string and say, you're getting sleepy, now cluck like a chicken and bark like a dog. It doesn't require that. All it requires is programming, streaming apps, streaming series, movies, music. That's all it requires. And if you constantly put this stuff and drill this stuff into people's brain, they're going to think like this. Look at the Caucasian shows. Look at our shows. Come on now. Look at 50 Cent with All Power, BMF, Ghost. Come on, man.
Now, I couldn't find the original. I couldn't find the other video that I actually came here for. I don't know what the heck happened to it, But Facebook is, my computer just can't handle all that lag. I can't keep looking for it because then it frees up my whole PC. All right. Now, this is also from the island of Hispaniola. Okay. Let's see. This is just the atrocities that they kept doing to us, okay? They spared no one, erecting especially wide giblets on which they could string their victims up by their feet just off the ground. All right, we read this before, how they burned us alive, 13 at a time in honor of their Savior, and 12 apostles. All right, put dry straw on our bodies, set fire to it. All right. Some they chose to keep alive and simply cut off their wrists, leaving their hands dangling, saying to them, take this letter, meaning that their sorry condition would act as a warning to those hiding in the mountains and the hills, okay? The way they normally dealt with the native leaders and nobles was to tie them to a kind of griddle consisting of sticks resting on pitchforks driven into the ground, and then grill them over a slow fire. Okay, This is also what that video was talking about. The video that I was trying to find, it talked about the original meaning of barbecues, okay? Really, the original barbecue was the sacrificing animals, okay? If we really want to get down to the nitty gritty, the first barbecue was the sacrificing of animals, okay, on an altar. All right, burning an offering. That's a freaking that's your modern day griddles is a freaking altar. Okay, your modern day griddles is an altar. I don't care what people want to believe about that. All right, but that's an altar. I really wish I could have found that video though, because it was a very important video. Let's see. With the result that they howled in agony and despair as they died a lingering death. This is the types of heinous things that they did to us in these lands, okay? And this is biblical prophecy, all right? He remained silent, seeing it. He did not rejoice that we were being devoured and swallowed and robbed, but he did leave us in the hand of all the wild beasts as food, okay? That don't mean he was rejoicing over it. No, he had to allow us to go through our chastisement. Okay? And he called 70 shepherds and put away those sheep in order that they should pasture them. Okay? So again, we get back to the ones that he had allotted to be our shepherd. Okay, these were supposed to be righteous Gentiles. They were supposed to stay in the goodness of our God, but they did not stay in the goodness of our God. No. Okay, they some were probably bought. All right, some were probably bought off for the money. Okay, some probably gave in to sexual perversions. All right, some probably were martyred. Okay, because I'm not going to rule that out. All right, some were martyred right along with us. Okay, they were the good ones. The good Europeans were treated like us. Okay, your people hated you. The good ones of you, they hate you just as much as they hate us. Okay, and they will treat you just like they treat us. Just remember, back in the 60s, they would call you an in lover. Okay, they call you an in lover and treat you just like they treat us. All right, they were treating their own people savagely in Europe before they ever came over here. All right. They didn't have no compassion for one another. They didn't love one another as themselves. Okay? No, they brought their wretchedness over here to a compassionate people that knew the true and living God. And even though the vast majority of our people were wayward and refused to come back to the original covenant of our God, there was always a remnant within the remnant that were obedient. But we still had to go through the tribulation. Okay? Because of our wicked ass people. Alright? And the reason for it is because we get the reward. Okay? So when you go through suffering and you don't deserve it, you get rewarded for that. Why do you think the Messiah became an ascended master? Because he did not deserve the way he was treated. Okay? He died a brutal death. Alright? That was undeserving. Alright? So that's the greatest sacrifice. To give your life for the sake of divine love. Alright? And don't get it twisted. Because that sake of divine love that he did it for was not to cover your sin. Alright? It was to demonstrate that it is possible to keep the eternal law of divine love, immortality. He proved it with his life. And he took away the animal sacrifices. All right? He gave his life for the lamb. Okay? He refused to allow Judas to slay a lamb on Passover, and that's why they handed him over to the Romans to have them murder him. Okay? And they pronounced that horrible curse upon themselves and their descendants and their descendants. All right? They literally said, may his blood be upon us and all of our children. All right? And to this day, many of our people is confessing the blood of Jesus. All right? Is a spell. Wake up out of the deception. Wake up out of the illusion, people. Okay? So there were 70 shepherds, all right, in order that they should pasture us. And he spoke to the shepherds and to their companions. So clearly he was dealing with them. He was dealing with some of the Gentile nations, okay? Each single one of you shall now pasture the sheep, and everything I command you, do. All right? And he allowed us to be delivered over to these shepherds. Okay? And it was according to number. All right? Now, of course, the real Messiah ain't going to tell nobody to kill anybody. Ain't going to tell nobody to destroy anybody. However, he did say, hands off my anointed. Okay, is in the scriptures. Do not touch mine anointed. Now, the anointed ones is the obedient ones. The ones that are not obedient, those are the portion of malevolence. Okay, those don't belong to the true and living God. Those don't belong to the good shepherd. Okay, so those are the portion that they could kill. All right, because they did not belong to our God. Okay. Not that it makes it okay to kill. Nevertheless, they were not the portion of the true and living God. All right? So that's what that means. All right? You got to read deeper than surface level. He said, thou shalt not kill, goddammit. If he told us thou shalt not kill, what the hell makes you think that he changed that law? That now all of a sudden it's okay to kill. He said, do not pollute the land you're on with blood. So what makes my bruise think that all of a sudden it's okay to spill blood? Get out of the strong delusion, goddammit. Okay? He allots free agency. Okay? And that free agency comes with responsibility, people. The responsibility is to continue in the goodness of the true and living God. All right? That is to display the benevolent attributes of divine love, compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy, generosity, chastity. All right? If you're not married, you should not be out here fornicating. Okay? Purity, holiness, righteousness, goodness, all things good. All right? This is the characteristics of the true and living God. So if you are of the true and living God, then you will also have these characteristics. Okay? But you also have the free agency to disregard those characteristics and be wicked. All right? Just understand that you're going to reap the consequences. Because it comes with accountability. The free agency comes with responsibility and also accountability. Okay? He allotted the sheep over to them 70 shepherds, and to another he called and said to him, Watch and see everything that the shepherds do concerning these sheep, for they will destroy more of them than I have allotted. Not commanded, but allotted. Okay? Now, I connected that. Okay? So now you see that the only reason you heathen were allowed to come over here to these lands is because of our disobedience. And now it's because of our obedience that your time is up. All right? The times of the Gentiles have been fulfilled. Okay? Let me prove that. And then we're going to end this. Okay? I think it's 3 Nephi. Is it 16? Yep, 3 Nephi, chapter 16. Alright, let's start on up here at the top. Blessed are the Gentiles because of their faith in him. Okay? And that of the Holy Spirit, which witnesses unto them of me and of the Father. Alright? Behold, because of their faith in me, said the Father, and because of the disobedience of you, O house of Israel, in a latter day shall the truth come unto the Gentiles. All right? This is the 70 shepherds. All right? The righteous Gentiles, that the fullness of these things shall be made known unto them. All right? The fullness of these things was made known unto the 70 shepherds. Okay? My cigarette keeps going out, people, so bear with me. I don't have tobacco. I'm literally having to break up butts and roll them, so it doesn't stay lit. I have to make a makeshift cigarette, all right, and it sucks. Okay, so anyway. But woe, said the Father, unto the disobedient of the Gentiles, for notwithstanding they have come forth upon the face of this land, and have scattered my people who are of the house of Israel, and my people who are of the house of Israel have been cast out from among them, and have been trodden under feet by them. And because of the mercies of the Father unto the Gentiles, all right, because he allowed you your time to come over here, rape, rob, murder, plunder, pillage, enslave, torture, and reclassify and just oppress his covenant people this entire freaking time. Okay, he allowed all of that. All right, so he had mercy upon you Gentiles, allowing all your wickedness for centuries. Okay, and also the judgments of the Father upon my people who are of the house of Israel. Verily, verily, I say unto you, that after all this, and I have allowed my people who are of the house of Israel, the Yahudim, okay, to be smitten and to be afflicted and to be slain and to be cast out from among them and to become hated by them and to become a hiss and a byword among them. And thus commanded the Father that I should say unto you, at that day when the Gentiles shall sin against my gospel and shall reject the fullness of my gospel and shall be lifted up in the pride of their hearts above all nations and above all the people of the whole earth, and shall be filled with all manner of lyings and of deceits and of mischiefs and all manner of hypocrisy and murders and priestcrafts and whoredoms and of secret abominations. And if they shall do all those things and shall reject the fullness of my gospel, behold, said the Father, I will bring the fullness of my gospel from among them. Okay, and we're gonna get more, but I'm being tapped to go back to Facebook right quick because I gotta get that video. Um, come on, computer, God. Oh man, let me go to grid view, find it faster. I could have sworn I had saved that other video. I needed to show y'all that, but okay. Is this it? Let me see if this is it. No. Wait, maybe it is. What the hell?
We are the Aboriginal of this land. Y'all know Trump just signed that executive order getting rid of birthright citizenship. The 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment clearly states that any persons born in the U.S. and not subject to any foreign power, excluding Indians not taxed, are hereby declared to be citizens of the United States. So they said the Indians who are not taxed are not citizens of the United States. Okay, so what is an Indian not taxed? An Indian not taxed is living on reservations under the care of government agents, or roaming individually or in bands over unsettled fractions of the country. Right? Okay, so then it goes on. And it separates, and it says Indians not in tribal relations, whether full blood or half bred, who are found mingled with population residing in white families, engaged as servants or laborers, or living in huts on the outskirts of towns, are regarded as the ordinary population of this country. So that didn't include them. It said the Indians that are not taxed. Who are they? Who are the ordinary population of this country? That's us. Because isn't it weird that this article says black
Excluding, they excluded us by paper genocide by reclassifying us people. All right, you need to realize when they reclassified us, this is how they got rid of our sovereignty. Okay, now I'm trying to find the other video. God dang it. Where the hell is it? Oh, is this it? Yeah, this is it.
No one today trusts America. You talk to the leaders in Europe, not one of them trusts America. Go to the Middle East, not one of the leaders that I've met a number of them, trust America. The only one who trusts America was a military intelligence chief of Israel. And I said, you're the only one in the world that trusts America. And his answer is, I have no choice. That means he knows that he doesn't trust America.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a sad thing. I mean, speaking as an American, it really hurts me to see that happen. I think the world is going to be a really messy place when that is the case.
So clearly, the reason why that nobody trusts America is because it is filled with all manner of lyings and of deceits and of mischiefs and all manner of hypocrisy and murders and priestcrafts and whoredoms and of secret abominations. All right? And they are lifted up in the pride of their hearts above all nations and above all the people of the whole earth. Okay? This is most of the Americans, the pale skinned white European Americans, all right, the patriots, and all y'all are the most arrogant ass people upon the face of this earth. And all nations outside of America hate you because of your arrogance. I really wish I could find that. I'm gonna go ahead and end it though with this. Alright. I'm gonna end it with this.
Consequences, that's consequences. But the black nigga cigarette, hey. The other one, see it? Tobacco, sugar, cotton. Black nigga, there's salt. The stone. Now you see it. You see it. Color. Color. That person got braids. See it? Feathers. See it keep going down, go down. It's all connected, go down. Across the street. Consequences, that's consequences. But the black nigga cigarette, hey. The other one, see it? Tobacco, sugar, cotton. Black nigga, there's salt. The stone. Now you see it. You see it. Color. Color. That person got braids. See it? Feathers. See it keep going down, go down. It's all connected, go down. Across the street.
Alright, so that's all I'm going to show you, people. Alright? And we're going to go ahead and end it there. Okay? There's a lot more that I could get into. But, you know, I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. It's long enough. You know what I'm saying? I just flow by way of the spirit. And I just had to get that. You know, I found it very interesting. You know, my brother brung that, you know, video about sovereignty, and it's over a 3-hour video, you know, and I'm gonna finish watching that, you know, when I'm done with this. But yeah, people, it's so crazy, it's so crazy. But yeah, let me go ahead and get on up off of here. You know, I really hope that you people humble yourself and repent, change your mentality and your heart condition. On that note, shalom. So yeah, we're gonna do a background record here.